another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows. And if you can, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. I'm trying to think of so many different ways to showcase that 5 stars right there for you. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Game Source, Lakerholics.com, and of course, the great folks at the Hoop Heads Podcast Network who help support this show and bring it out there to a whole bunch of people, including all their other great NBA shows. And if you can support them, it is sincerely appreciated. Well, the Lakers, we talked about this on the last episode. We were wondering if they flew into Miami, if everything was going to be okay, and they were actually going to go ahead and come into the hotel and get some rest and get some practice, or if they would be hitting the beach or the clubs when their time in Miami. And in the first quarter, it looked like they were hitting the clubs the previous night because, my gosh, they got off to an absolutely terrible start on both ends of the floor. The offense and the defense, nothing was working at all. And the Miami Heat were doing an outstanding job of being able to distribute the ball both on the inside for several layups and dunks by both Bam Adebayo and also as well Dwayne Dedmon. And then on the outside, Jimmy Butler was distributing it to the great shooters that they have outside like Duncan Robinson, for who is hitting 3 after 3 after 3. So it was not a great start for the Lakers as they got off to a 39-25 first quarter that they were down. And even in the first half, they were down by as many as 25, 26 points. The third quarter didn't look like it was going to be anything more promising because basically they couldn't get the offense going. They got their defense kind of right because they only allowed Miami 20 points in the third quarter, but their offense couldn't get going as they only scored 18. So it looked like it was going to be a game where Miami was going to put it into cruise control. Lo and behold, the Lakers decided after all this time, they kind of shook off the cobwebs. Maybe the hangover came, just the hangover from being at the clubs. Maybe that finally kind of ended because in the fourth quarter, it was a mad comeback that gave the Lakers fans hope that they might actually pull it out. Might actually squeeze it out because it looked like it was down to 4. The Lakers had the ball and the chance to go ahead and really make some noise happen. But unfortunately, in the last 40 seconds, the Lakers found every which way they could to lose the game. Just basically a poor turnover, whatever you want to say, accidental bumping, accidental pick, whatever. Avery Bradley just made a terrible mistake. And a absolutely horrid THT out of bounds pass to give the Miami Heat an easy layup. And the team, again, worked so hard and worked so well in the fourth quarter, only to fall short as the Lakers fall to the Miami Heat in a game which I think a lot of people on the Lakers fans out there probably tuned out by the fourth quarter. But they came back strong, only to lose 113-107. And here today to talk about the game are two great guys indeed. You got the chance to see him, one of our longtime Lakers Fast Break guests from the early days. He came back for Orlando. Now he's back in for another part of the Florida trip. It is a good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check out what he does for us at the Pop Culture Cosmos, talking all the things pop culture, including on Monday's show for the Pop Culture Cosmos, part 2 of our conversation with Activision and Blizzard getting bought out by Microsoft. It is Trumaine J. Well, it's only $68.7 billion. That's all. You've got that lying around in between your couch.
I do.
Cushions.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you can see my
full. Crypto money. Yes. Well, crypto went down over the past week, so it could be crypto money. But it is TJ Johnson. TJ, good to have you here, my friend.
Thank you. Good to be back,
all I can say is Laker fans are frustrated because however well that they played in the fourth quarter, I'm sure everybody who was still actually watching was saying to themselves, why couldn't they play that way through the rest of the game?
Well, when you as a collective team are shooting under 30% from the 3-point line, but you're allowing the other team to shoot almost 50% from the 3-point line, that kind of tells a bit of a tale. The Lakers were
And
11
that's
of
what happened.
40.
Basically, down
Yeah,
the stretch in that last 40 seconds, not only did they not
yeah,
execute on the offensive end,
yeah,
again, like I talked about with THT and Avery Bradley, they gave up 2 3-pointers.
yep. 15 to 33 from the 3-point line from Miami. I mean, that's a staggering statistic in itself. That's 4 more threes than Lakers. That's an additional 12 points. The Lakers lost by 6. I mean, you can't. Oh my God. I feel like we just talked about this. You have to
I'm going to
understand
be honest
as
with
a
everybody out there. TJ has been hesitant to come back on in recent days simply because he's been so frustrated with the team, like so
I
many other Lakers
have,
fans, and I
I
truly
have,
appreciate him coming on. But you can see
I
it in his face right
have,
now if you're watching on
I
on
have.
video.
The problem that I'm having, Gerald and James, good to meet you, but I've always heard the stuff that you've been doing with G, so that's awesome.
Thank you.
The frustration that I have as a Lakers fan is this. You have this talent in LeBron James, right, who at 37 years of age is completely dominating the game. It is astronomical and it is asinine the amount of work, the amount of load that this guy has at 37 years of age going into his 19th season in the NBA playing for this Los Angeles Lakers team. Your best player is a 37-year-old who doesn't know if he wants to be a power forward, a small forward, a center. It really kind of depends on whichever day you catch him. But
It's
that's
great
your
for
best
fantasy
player.
leagues, though. I
Oh
will
yeah,
tell you that
fantasy
much.
leagues are loving him absolutely because you can't decide on what position to put him. You put him wherever he's going to go for it. Doesn't change the fact that at 37 years of age, this is your best player. Your best player at 37. They're
The only
asking way
position
too
he actually
much.
isn't in is shooting guard for fantasy leagues out there. I'll just say
How
that. So
about
he can
that?
slot. He can
So you can
slot in
slide him
anywhere.
anywhere but that. But the fact that we have this guy, 37 years of age, leading this team the way he's leading them and doing everything he's doing, we as a team don't deserve him because he's doing way more than he should be doing. Way more than he should be doing. You've got these players. I mean, we talked about it in the Orlando game, right? We talked about how many of those players had double-digit games. You had 4 players in double digits this game, but they were not good double digits. I mean, you had Carmelo who barely broke it at 11. You had
Avery Bradley,
Avery Bradley at 15. You had not Rondo. I'm
Russ.
sorry. You're looking at
Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook at 24 points. So you've got some players that are producing. LeBron 33 points yet again, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, doing exactly what LeBron does. However, he did shoot 1 of 8 from deep, so he was putting up a lot of lazy shots and was kind of maybe had a bit of a hangover. Maybe he hung out and partied in Miami, like you said. Considering the fact that he was in Miami Heat, maybe he had a little fun with those guys, but it doesn't change the fact that as a Lakers franchise, right, this is as frustrating as it gets because we are not 2 years removed from winning a championship. Not 2 years removed. And truth be told, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. People are already considering that championship as an asterisk championship. They're not considering it a real championship. Now, we know that, it doesn't change the fact that a banner goes up, they get another trophy, but it was already not a legitimate championship in a lot of NBA players and a lot of NBA pundits' eyes because of the situation and circumstance that it was won under. With that being said, we are a year and a half removed from that, and we are still basically the same team. And we are kind of showing that maybe, just maybe, it wasn't legitimate. And I don't say that lightly because I understand that it was a
Well,
completely
I
different
mean,
set
you're
of
talking outside of
circumstances.
2 players, though, one of which is not in the lineup, but could soon be back to the lineup, and I will talk about that here in a few minutes. It is basically a fundamentally changed team because there's so many different players now that were not there in that championship season.
Mm-hmm. So this player that you're talking about, let's talk about this player that you're about to allude to, right? This
Yeah,
Anthony
Anthony
Davis, who
Davis. He was
how many
questionable.
how many seasons now has Anthony Davis been in the league? Anybody? Anybody?
8 or
Anybody?
9, I
Any
believe.
idea?
Yeah.
8 or 9. Okay, let's throw it out there. Let's say 9. Let's give him the benefit of a 9 year. How many full seasons has he played?
1 or 2.
That's a bigger question.
Full season in the NBA.
I
So
don't know if
this
he's ever played.
9 year.
Up for 82 either. I don't know that he's ever gone.
Well, even 75 games. Let's put
This is my
75 games.
point. This is my point. This guy has been injury prone since he's gotten here. We can't count on him to play a consistent season every year because he has not played a consistent season every year. He hasn't played a consistent
I do
season
want to
maybe 1 or 2
update
years.
Lakers fans here real quick, then, if I may, TJ,
Yeah,
that he
absolutely.
was listed. Saturday we talked about what news could come out Saturday in between the games, and what news came out is that he was going to be listed as questionable, which means he was a game time decision, which means he's close. He's very close. Unfortunately, he did step out today. It could have been very useful because Dwayne Dedmon and Bam Adebayo early on, they destroyed the Lakers inside along with Duncan Robinson out on the perimeter. I think that it would have been a great help. Again, he could be back as early as Tuesday's game as Brooklyn. So, but you're right. His durability will always be in question. That's why I believe he took the contract that he took, what was given to him, outside of taking any options. Well, he didn't want any options on it. He didn't want to get to free agency because he knows he wants the steady money there that the Lakers were offering him because of the fact he's so injured. But great points, my friend. I cannot blame you for your being upset. I mean, you waste another LeBron great performance, 11 of 22. Yeah, 1 of 8 from 3, but man, when you have a guy in there that's scoring 33 points for you, 11 rebounds, only 3 turnovers, 4 assists, but still.
And is playing 40 minutes. He played 40 minutes this game.
40 minutes, and it completely destroyed the Miami Heat on the inside. Whenever he decided to take the ball to the hole, he was literally doing whatever he could when he was going inside the key. Could not be stopped, as long as he was trying to drive it. From the outside, Jamie, you were right, is very struggling from there. One of those off games for him, but he was still able to find a way to go ahead and get it done on his end. He's just not able to lift everybody else like the days that he could before.
But it's not. He shouldn't have to
at 37. I agree.
Should not have to do it. And the fact that
you got a good game from Russell Westbrook today. You got to.
That's another and
you wasted
that's another up and down. The problem is, yes, we had another great game from LeBron, and yes, LeBron should not have to. But if you look at who he has on this team, and if you look at the amount of work that he's putting in, he is still elevating this team. He was the second highest number of minutes in the entire game. The only person that played more minutes than him was Duncan Robinson.
Yep.
And he's 10 years younger.
10 years younger. So we've got a 37-year-old who is still holding this team up. Because if you take away those 33 points from LeBron James, Lakers are getting blown out. So you take that into consideration, and we talk about how he can't lift the team. He can lift the team. He's still dropping 30 points a game. The problem is you cannot find one NBA player who's been able to drop 30 points a game and completely beat the team by himself. Jordan couldn't do it. Kobe couldn't do it. It's just not. It's not feasible. It's not fair, and it's not fair to put that on this 37-year-old NBA player who's in his 19th season.
Russell Westbrook, you got a good game from him in this up and down roller coaster year for him. You actually got a good game from him, and you wasted that. Just very sad. Just very sad for Lakers fans right now. But once again, we have the Lakers, even with a mad fourth quarter charge, couldn't quite get over the hump and end up losing 113-107. Also here today is a great man indeed. You got to go ahead and check out his 5 Things articles, which will be very interesting come tomorrow when he writes about this game at Lakerholics.com. It'll be very interesting. I understand it will not have a great outcome, but at least the bulk of it will be very interesting on how we went from one extreme to the next. It is Jamie Sweet. Jamie, great to have you here, my friend. Again, this looked like it was going to be, toast and all over from the get-go because the Lakers looked absolutely awful in that first quarter. Just getting toast. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Partying in Miami.
Yeah, they were partying on beach, at the clubs. They were doing something, and the hangover was really evident in that first quarter. Even in that first half, they just, again, were down multiple times by 24, 25 points. And then finally, after a third quarter lull, when both teams, I think, felt like they were both having hangovers, with only a 20-18 third quarter, the Lakers finally came back strong. But it just, to me, what happened with the Lakers just not finding themselves until that fourth quarter? Did they wait until Miami took their foot off the gas? But it shouldn't have to be that way. The intensity, the way that the work ethic, just the way that the Lakers were going about on defense and offense, the sense of urgency was not there until the fourth quarter.
No, actually, so full disclosure, I started writing my article in the third quarter. And then as they kept coming back, I just kept thinking, like, It's not going to be enough. Like, they've waited to try hard for far too long in this game. This has been a theme all season. We have a spirited comeback in the fourth quarter where we decide to start playing hard and competing. And everybody's like, well, look at that fourth quarter comeback. And it's like, well, there's a whole other 3 quarters of basketball that needed to be played at a high level, or at least at a even an acceptable level.
Yeah.
But as you said, this team chose not to do that. This team chose to come out and play a pretty lackluster 3 quarters of basketball and then try to turn it on at the end. And you can't play rope-a-dope in the NBA. You're not going to win playing rope-a-dope. You're not going to lure some team to sleep and they go, oh, where did the Lakers come from? I didn't even see that coming. That doesn't work in any sport but boxing, and not even always in boxing. So, and I don't think that they're actually, trying to rope-a-dope teams. It's just that this team doesn't show up from large parts of the game. And that's what, to me, is the most unacceptable thing, because you have the resumes on this team are epic. You got guys who every game or so are joining this club, passing this mark, doing the, all these things. So for professionals of this level to not have it within themselves to play hard is wholly unacceptable. It's just wholly unacceptable. And you can't, and from a lot of this criticism, I do include LeBron James in it. Like, LeBron's leaving it out there, man. LeBron's leaving it out there. There's no doubt about it. Like, at some point, if you're really going to question like 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 of the 3-point shots LeBron took, like, come on, man. Like, the guy's trying. Like, he's trying this hard. I will say, all those 30-plus foot 3-pointers in this game, nobody was hot. So you got to generate a quality shot. When THT shot his 35-footer with like 5 seconds left to go, I was surprised he ever saw the court again. I would have taken him out of the game and said, "That's not you, man. You're the guy who's supposed to be attacking the rim. You're supposed
And
to be."
unfortunately, his out of bounds play where he threw it straight to a Miami Heat player, Caleb Martin, for the easy layup.
He was one of. I had a list of 4 Lakers who put up donuts. Towards the end of the game, he scored a basket, so he got off that list. But it's the same with Ariza. Like, talk about a tale of 2 37-year-olds. You got Ariza, who looks like he can barely get out of bed, and you've got LeBron, who's challenging for the MVP. And so this has been my problem with the team from the summer. This has been my problem with the team through training camp. It's been my problem with the team through the whole season, is that they don't get up for anyone. They play down to everyone. They don't beat bad teams. They get beat by good teams. And AD's not going to fix that. No 1 or 2 players we can trade for us or make a lateral move or switch Russ for John Wall, which sounds just about like the worst idea anybody could come up with.
And the kicker is, get this, the kicker is on this swap between Wall and Westbrook, they want the Lakers, according to the rumors, to give up extra draft picks. And you're saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to take a year in salary extra for John Wall, and I have to give up draft picks?
Right.
What part of no do you understand?
It's the worst possible. It's the worst deal conceived of. The fact that anybody puts any kind of credence or support behind it at all makes me question their sanity. But,
Of course the Houston Rockets are interested in making that kind of trade.
Yeah, I ran out of Spirit Awards about a month ago. So these comebacks are kind of meaningless to me at this point. Like you guys both said, had they played with the same intensity they played in the last 6 to 8 minutes of the game for even just half the game, just half of the game.
That third quarter.
To say nothing of the whole game, like Memphis plays. You can almost never accuse Memphis of not showing up. You can almost, all these teams with young guys, they're hungry. And we're getting feasted on by teams who have either an identity, which basically it's almost all the teams. If you have an established identity like the Heat or Golden State, Denver, if you know where you're getting your points, how your points are generated, what your defensive coverages are, who's supposed to be doing what, if you have a true identity, you kill us. You just kill us. And if you're a young team that's like, we're going to get up and run, you can do it. We don't have enough defense. LeBron at the center position, I do not think is a great idea. Unfortunately, there isn't a better option right now until AD gets back, because he can't protect the paint and he can't box out and he can't score all the points. Like LeBron cannot do everything. He can't do everything.
Yeah.
He cannot. It's just
He can't.
it's in. And TJ, you had a great point.
Inconceivable. Say it.
Inconceivable. The fact
Conceivable.
the fact that it's evidently the game plan is, to me, astounding.
You guys are going to make me want to go watch Princess Bride. I'm just going to.
Oh, it's on. I believe it's on Netflix or Disney, some streaming.
One of them.
Somewhere
It's on one of them.
It's on one of them.
The one that I know is on like probably 87 producers list for a remake, and I hope nobody ever pulls the trigger on it. Like, leave it alone. Walk away.
Walk away.
Walk away. Please don't ruin that, which is already great. Remake Jaws. I don't care. Make it with a better. That's cool. Don't tell me.
But I tell you, my friend, it's just great points by both you guys. But the road trip does not get any easier, because on Tuesday, guess who they walk into? They walk into Brooklyn. Now, mind you, they will not have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, but still, we've seen before cases where, like Christmas, where you thought, oh, it's just going to be James Harden, who's been struggling, and the rest of the players that are there. They've got some guys gone 10 days, things of that nature. Not going to be too much of a problem. And James, you saw what happened on Christmas Day with that embarrassment.
James is not now. James is back.
Yeah. So, TJ, I want to ask you this before we head on out, and then I'll hit you up with Jamie Sweet on this. Brooklyn, heading into Brooklyn, what needs to change between now and Tuesday? Because right now, I think Frank Vogel is coaching for his job. We talked about this on the previous show. We talked about how successful we think the Lakers need to be on this road trip. If they're 500 coming back, I think that's going to be a win for Frank Vogel. If they're 2 or 3 games under 500 by the time they hit the tarmac in LA, I think it's all trouble for him.
Gerald, there's
and
no
you
easy way.
understand why he has been reluctant to come back on the show.
There's no easy way. There's no easy way to say that he is on a hot seat. His job is on the line. Period. Rather it's 500, he could be +2. His job is on the line. It does not change the fact that this Lakers team, with this current setup, this current roster, is woefully underperforming. Now, the truth of the matter is, whether it's his fault or not, because I don't believe it's his fault, it does not change the fact that this Lakers team is woefully underperforming, whether they're fully staffed or not, whether you have, and as Jamie put it, just the same way I said it last time, you have professional NBA players. You guys have a job to do day in and day out. I get up every day and I go to work, and I work a retail position, and I bust my butt, and I only make an X amount of dollars. I don't make nearly what they make, and they work way less than I do. I guarantee you. Now, granted, they're professional athletes. I get it. I am not that guy to pretend like, they don't do anything. No, you guys are putting on a performance. You guys are putting on a show. I get it. But I need you to show up. I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, and the one thing that we do not play in Chicago is you show up. You put your shoes on, you tie up your boots, you pull them up, and you get to work. That's one of the reasons that they had an issue with Derrick Rose when they did, because they feel like he stopped putting in the work. So when you stop putting in the work, Chicago spits you out. I'm born and raised in Chicago. I don't play that. You come in, you put your shoes on, you put your heart on, you get to work, man. You're getting paid money to do this. You are getting paid money to play a game. When people out here fighting for their lives every day, they're fighting for their lives, and you're putting on a show. And you mean to tell me that you don't think it's acceptable? You don't think that you need to come in and show up and show out every day? Are you kidding me? Do you know how many players, how many people we go find on the streets right now who would give their left arm for an opportunity that these guys have every day, and they don't come in here and perform? It's not just disrespectful as a Lakers fan, considering the pedigree that we're talking about. It's not just disrespectful as an NBA fan, considering the fact that there are 50 teams in the NBA, and all these teams have players that are supposed to be top athletes in their class. We are talking about, from a simple standpoint of, people are working. People are coming out and doing what they have to do every day, putting it out there every day. And these players can't be bothered to do the same thing. Gerald, Jamie, is disgusting. It's disgusting, and it breaks my heart. It really does. As a Lakers fan, as an NBA fan, as a man, as a grown 37-year-old man, it breaks my heart. These players do not think that it's necessary to show up and show out every day. Say what you want about Kobe Bryant. Say what you want about if he was a ball hog. Say what you want if he took too many shots. Kobe didn't take a game off. Kobe would come out there, broken wrist, perform, and give you everything he's got and leave it on the floor every game. Every game. It did not change.
I think 37 is the magic number for today. You're 37. Trevor Ariza 37. LeBron James is 37. I think that's the magic number for the day. They almost lost. Well, actually, they lost to
Honestly,
Denver earlier this month by 37.
by 37. TJ, I think, could outperform Trevor Ariza right now. No lie. I'm
Yeah, honestly, you know what? Even if I don't outperform, I guarantee you I give you 110% more effort than he did. I guarantee you I give you everything in my body. And the fact that these guys can't be bothered to do the same thing and they're getting paid millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. Are you kidding?
Let's get Rob on the phone. Let's get Rob on the phone for you, my friend.
No, don't
But
get me started on Rob. Don't call Rob. Don't call Rob.
Don't get me started on Rob. Don't get me started on Rob. But
don't give us started on Rob.
Yeah, that's another hour. But Jamie, well, that's actually 2. But Jamie, before we head on out, my friend, it is again. They go to Brooklyn. This Grammy road trip from hell, which might be the time by the end of the time that this week happens that we could be calling this. But this road trip, the Grammy trip, continues on in Brooklyn on Tuesday. Any thoughts on it? What they can do? Again, it'll be James Harden, but again, it'll be James Harden. We saw the scenario in Los Angeles in December.
I gave up. There's a lot of things I've given up this season in terms of like hope for the team. I gave up the roster making sense once camp hit. And when they picked up DeAndre, once they picked up DeAndre Jordan, I was like, I don't know what is driving this process. Like, it's unexplainable. It's something that when you guys were talking about Kobe Bryant and TJ, I can't disagree with anything you said. In fact, like, frankly, I agree 100% with what you say about, punch the clock, man. Punch in, put in the work, do the work, punch out. And then you can go party. Then you can go party, dude. Go play Sega Genesis or whatever it is the kids are doing these days.
Well, they're not doing that in Miami, I have a feeling.
No kid is playing Sega Genesis. They're all on Xbox 27. But when I just a bit of a tangent, but when I saw that foul that Caruso took the other day, and that he finished the game playing with a fractured wrist.
Yep, and he's out. He had surgery, and he's out 6 to 8 weeks.
And to think that nobody in the front office, to think that the Lakers would say like, oh, we really respect the Mamba mentality. We have the spirit of Kobe Bryant. That is the biggest pile of horse that you can. It's disrespectful to not value work, to not value effort, to not value sacrifice, as it is quite obvious the Laker front office does not at this point, is inexcusable. And so, I think that you guys are both right. I think that Frank will be the first casualty of the season. And I won't be surprised if when the season ends up being the disappointment that it has been to this point, and there are few signs that it will abate, I won't be surprised if Jeannie cleans house pretty heavily. That she basically says, look, this ain't working. The bubble championship was, I mean, I can understand why you would put an asterisk on it in terms of, teams didn't travel. There was no home or away arenas, this, that, and the other thing. Everybody competed under the same circumstances, though, and the Lakers were the best team. I don't think it deserves an asterisk. I can understand why people can make or would make the argument.
Well, you'll hear this till the end of time. Yeah,
the Spurs deal with the same thing with 1999.
Especially if you're in Boston.
Yeah. Whatever. Well, yeah. Boston can suck an egg. And feel free to write me, Boston. Care of Gerald Glassford. He tells me.
Oh, thank you.
I get all my negative fan mail from Jim.
Yeah, and that I remember. Yes,
all 2 pieces so far. So, I'm not giving up on the season, but my hope for the season has got to such a low point that games like this no longer surprise me.
Yep.
That's the problem. Is that this has become commonplace, and that's unacceptable. It's just wholly unacceptable. And you guys have made both stellar points. It's been a pleasure being on the podcast with you, TJ. Nice to meet you as well.
Oh, man, the pleasure's mine.
I know how it's stressful right now to be like a fan, because you're like, come on, man. Like, all you gotta do is show up.
That's it. That's
They're all
it.
really
I think
all-
Laker Tom's shoulder that he got surgery for, I think it's hurting even more after a game like today. That's all I'll say.
I mean, he probably is hoarse because he probably got excited during the comeback. Like they were really going to come
He
back.
probably hit the TV with his bad shoulder, but yeah.
Don't do that, Tom.
Please
don't do that.
Please don't do that.
But I will say
it's not worth the aggravation. It's not worth the aggravation. It's just not. This team isn't worth getting pissed off over it anymore. They're just not. I mean, if they had shown any ability to date of summoning an inner fire, but they haven't. So until
they
they
can't
show
do it consistently until it's too late.
Yeah, and not even and it goes games like this. Not just like, oh man, this has happened a few times. This happens a lot. This happens once a week. Where we have a spirited comeback in the fourth quarter against Memphis. We have a spirited.
I'm expecting, to be honest with you, like every NBA team at the tail end when it comes to maybe next week in Atlanta, them pulling something like that where they just don't show any effort because they're already been on a long road trip and they're on their way home. So a lot of NBA teams do that.
Yeah,
but now on the second game of the road trip, I was expecting a lot better effort in the first half, and we didn't get it. And that was the difference. That was the difference. So
yeah,
I will say this.
No more.
Well, yeah, I'll say this though, Jamie Sweet and TJ, you've both been incredible on the show, and I truly thank you both for being on the program today. Once again, it's the Lakers falling short with a mad comeback, but again, they couldn't quite get over the hump, and they lose 113-107. They're now 23-24, and amazingly, in the wacky Western Conference, they are still 7th place in the Western Conference. I have no idea how they are still 7th place, only because the Clippers and Minnesota are still just as up and down as they are. But right now, they are still in 7th place in the Western Conference, 23-24. It has just been a great pleasure being on with these guys, but we'll be back on Tuesday night after the game in Brooklyn. We'll see what happens there. Again, no Kevin Durant, no Kyrie
Stop
Irving.
stacking the deck. Stop stacking the deck.
And we may get Anthony Davis back. Anthony Davis could be back for Tuesday because he was a game time decision today. So he's close. He could be back on Tuesday. So we'll see.
Don't get.
I feel like I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised if he's not back Tuesday.
So you think he's coming back Tuesday?
I think that's the only reason they held him out today is because they wanted to make sure that he was available for Brooklyn.
TJ, you think he's coming back Tuesday?
I do think he's coming back Tuesday. I just don't. I don't know what to expect.
When's the next injury? When is the next injury?
Like,
or that
he's coming back and he's naturally going to save the season. Like,
right. That's exactly.
It's already 20. We said we're 23-24, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's 47 games into the season. 47 out of an 82 game season. We're 47 games in.
We got 25 games left, I think. 35 games? 35 games.
35 games left, guys.
Coming up on 2/3 of the way through the season. You are who you is, man.
You are who you are, man. They are who they are who we thought they were. They are who they thought
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, I tell you what, it's been great having these two guys on. They've made it very enjoyable for me in a bad situation.
Podcast, Gerald. Thank you for.
Yes, I know that with you both, you guys stressing you guys out, but it has been a good one for me. Talking to you guys, trying to vent when it concerns the Lakers because it seems to be an every other day occurrence. And with the Lakers again falling short, 113-107. But we will be back on Tuesday after the game against Brooklyn. If you have any questions for us, at Lakers Fast Break on Twitter or LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com, please check out the great stuff that they're doing today at Lakerholics.com, including Jamie Sweet's 5 Things articles, including whatever Laker Tom can do with his offhand. I think he's trying to write articles and doing posts on social media with his offhand, which is very hard. And I don't want to do that myself, but he's trying to. So hope he's feeling better out there. I want to thank so much everybody who's been joining us on whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you catch us, wherever you get your podcasts as well, wherever you catch us, we do thank you so much. And we'll be back on Tuesday after the Brooklyn game, hoping for better things, keeping my fingers crossed, hoping for a return from AD, and maybe that'll spark the team for a better 4 quarters performance. We can always hope, guys.
We got now, man.
Yeah, we'll see this Tuesday. Coming up after the game, and we'll talk about it right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.